What if humanity's survival depended on one final, desperate act of rebellion against an alien empire that had ravaged everything we once knew? The stars no longer shine with the promise of discovery. The galaxies now echo with the haunting silence of civilizations erased by an implacable foe. An ancient alien empire, vast and merciless, has set its sights on Earth, our last bastion of life. Humanity, scattered across ruined cities, broken governments, and shattered dreams, stands at the precipice of extinction. Yet, amidst the ashes, a spark of defiance is ignited, setting the stage for a cosmic battle like no other. This is the story of the fight for our future, a rebellion born of fury, desperation, and hope. As alien warships darken the skies, and their cold, calculating leaders impose their will, the last remnants of humanity must do the unthinkable, fight not just for survival, but for revenge. In this universe, Earth was once the jewel of the cosmos, a thriving, self-sustaining civilization. But that was before the alien empire, known as the Zaraxis Collective, arrived, crushing human resistance with brutal efficiency. Cities fell in flames. People were enslaved. Our very identity was stolen. But in the depths of oppression, one truth remained: humanity would never bend to tyranny. The story follows a ragtag group of human survivors who have made it their mission to fight back against the Zaraxis Collective. United by a shared sense of loss and the burning desire for revenge, these survivors embark on a perilous journey to reclaim their planet and their dignity. But their path is fraught with unimaginable obstacles. The Zaraxis are not just conquerors, they are methodical, ancient, and terrifyingly powerful, with advanced technology that makes Earth's military forces seem like mere children's toys. The video takes you through a whirlwind of emotional highs, the intense camaraderie among the survivors, the crushing losses they face, and the transformations that take place as they evolve from helpless refugees into fierce warriors. Yet, the stakes never feel more urgent than when they discover a hidden, ancient secret, a weapon capable of turning the tide in the war, if only they can find it before the Zaraxis do. The heart of this rebellion beats on themes of survival and revenge, with humanity seeking not only to outlive their alien oppressors, but also to reclaim what was taken from them, their world, their legacy, and their future. It's a story of transformation, where every character, whether human or alien, must come to terms with who they were before the invasion and who they will become in the face of inevitable conflict. The most powerful conflict is the one between humanity's indomitable will and the alien empire's overwhelming power. The survivors grapple with fear, betrayal, and impossible odds. The alien empire, with its cold and calculating leaders, will stop at nothing to eradicate humanity, an enemy that, for centuries, they've viewed as a mere nuisance. But within this, the most stirring battles take place within the hearts and minds of the survivors. As they fight to protect what little remains of their world, they are forced to question their own morals, their capacity for vengeance, and the cost of victory. In the end, it's not just their physical strength, but their unyielding resolve that may save them. At its core, the cosmic rebellion is about reclaiming what was lost, standing against the unimaginable, and coming together when the universe itself seems to be stacked against you. It's a story of ordinary people pushed to extraordinary limits and the devastating consequences of their choices. Will they rise as heroes, or will they become the very thing they're fighting against? But what's at stake? More than just human life, the future itself. As the rebellion builds and secrets are uncovered, it becomes clear that the war isn't just about survival anymore. It's about saving the very fabric of reality, where the actions of a few could alter the course of history for the entire galaxy. Stay tuned, because what you're about to witness is a fight that will transcend the stars, ignite the human spirit, and change everything we thought we knew about the cosmos. The horizon of Earth no longer mirrors the hopeful blue it once wore. Now, it is a mottled grey, scarred by the endless orbit of warships that block out the sun. Above the shattered remains of once thriving cities, the sky pulses with the faint glow of distant stars, their light swallowed by a blanket of ash and smoke. The planet's surface is a fractured shell, ruins of human civilization, reminders of a time before the invasion, now abandoned and crumbling under the weight of an empire far beyond anything humanity had ever imagined. Across the jagged landscape, dark silhouettes of alien war machines linger, their towering forms casting long, menacing shadows on the ground. Massive, biomechanical ships hover in low orbit, their weapons primed and ready, silently watching. The relentless hum of their engines fills the air, a constant reminder that the enemy is never far away. They are the Zaraxis Collective, a force of such overwhelming power that even the wind seems afraid to stir in their presence. Their ships, shaped like twisted, skeletal bones, ripple with a cold, unnatural energy, as though the very air around them is suffocating beneath their influence. The ground itself is broken, cities reduced to rubble, their once proud skyscrapers now jagged, twisted remains of steel and concrete. What was once a beacon of human ingenuity now lies dormant, its streets filled with debris, its buildings empty. The echoes of humanity's past civilization have been swallowed by the Zaraxis onslaught. In the distance, the shattered remnants of power plants flicker dimly, struggling to produce even the slightest power to sustain the last pockets of human survivors who live in the shadows. The air is thick with the scent of burned ozone and the metallic tang of ruined machinery, a smell that lingers long after the devastation. Everywhere, the sharp taste of dust chokes the breath, and the sounds are punctuated only by the occasional thrum of distant explosions, artillery fire from the Zaraxis ground forces, shattering what little is left of humanity's defenses. The sky, heavy with the perpetual presence of alien ships, is lit only by the sporadic flicker of far-off fires. It's a world suffocating under a sky of smoke, where every step forward feels like a battle against the weight of despair. The planet's once lush forests are scorched, leaving charred stumps and skeletal trees that seem to stretch toward the heavens in a silent, twisted plea for mercy. The oceans, once a symbol of life, have turned dark and polluted, teeming with strange, alien creatures that roam freely where humanity once ruled. In the few remaining human strongholds, life is an uneasy truce. Pockets of survivors, holed up in makeshift shelters, live in constant fear of the next Zaraxis patrol. There is no longer a sense of unity, but of fractured alliances and fragile trust. The ruins of the world speak only of the Empire's dominance, a stark reminder that this is no longer a home. Earth is a conquered world, a place where survival is all that remains. Yet, amidst the devastation, there is something more. A pulse. A spark of defiance. Hidden beneath the rubble, in the dark corners of forgotten cities, the faintest flickers of hope continue to burn. There are whispers among the survivors, rumors of a weapon, something powerful enough to challenge the Zaraxis and change the course of the war. But such stories are just that, stories. In a world like this, hope is a fragile thing, easily snuffed out by the crushing weight of reality. Still, even in the face of such unimaginable despair, there is a lingering sense that the war is far from over. The survivors know this, their every breath, their every move is a battle against the suffocating presence of the Zaraxis. And somewhere, in the ashes of this broken world, there is a chance for something more, a chance to rise, to reclaim what was lost, and to fight back. The tone of this new Earth is one of grim tension, where every corner holds the possibility of a last-ditch effort at survival or an encounter with the alien forces that have stolen their world. There is no room for complacency here, every moment is soaked in the knowledge that time is running out. Yet, the quiet resilience of humanity still echoes in the hearts of those who remain, even as they move like ghosts through their shattered cities, always listening for the faintest sound of a revolution that may yet be born from the ashes of their destroyed world. The sun, once a beacon of warmth and light, now flickers weakly through the haze of smog and smoke, casting a sickly pallor over the ruined cityscape. The survivors, their faces grim with exhaustion, move silently through the ruins, their eyes ever watchful. Every shadow, every distant noise, carries the weight of fear. Today, however, the air feels different, thicker, as if the planet itself senses the approaching storm. Beneath the gutted husk of a collapsed skyscraper, a small group of survivors huddles in a darkened alcove. Their clothes are ragged, their faces drawn with hunger and weariness. But there is a fire in their eyes, a quiet, unspoken determination that has carried them this far. They know the Zaraxis are close. The low, rumbling hum of alien engines vibrates through the earth, growing louder with each passing minute. They've seen it before, the relentless patrols that sweep through the city, scouring every corner for signs of resistance, hunting for any trace of rebellion. The leader of this small group, a woman whose once bright eyes have now dulled with time and loss, crouches in the shadows. She grips a rusted rifle tightly, its worn metal cold against her hand. Her mind races, calculating their next move, weighing the risks. The group has been moving through the ruined city for days, avoiding detection at every turn. But now, their luck may be running out. They're getting closer. Her voice is barely a whisper, but it carries an undeniable weight. The others tense at the sound, their hearts pounding as they listen. Through the haze of dust and debris, they can just make out the faint outline of a Zaraxis scout ship in the distance, its sleek, armored hull glistening as it hovers menacingly above the crumbling skyline. A low voice speaks from the back of the group. "We can't keep running forever." The words hang in the air, heavy with truth. They've been running for months, surviving off scraps, evading patrols, hiding in the shadows. But every day, the world they once knew slips further out of reach, and the Zaraxis grow more relentless in their pursuit. They are out of options. The leader's grip tightens on her weapon as she peers through a crack in the building's ruined wall. She can't help but wonder how much longer they can survive like this. What's the point of surviving if they never fight back? The thought gnaws at her, but she pushes it aside. There's no time for doubt. There's no time for anything except to keep moving, to stay hidden, until the moment comes. A sharp, sudden crack cuts through the silence, a distant explosion, followed by the unmistakable thud of heavy boots on the ground. The Zaraxis have landed. The group stiffens, bracing themselves for what's to come. The leader gestures sharply, signaling to the others to fall back into the deeper shadows of the ruins. They move quickly, but quietly, hearts racing. They're too close now. Stay low. Keep quiet. The leader's voice is tight with urgency as she leads them into the labyrinth of broken buildings and twisted alleys. But as they move, the ground beneath them suddenly shakes with a violent tremor. The sky above ripples with the shrill hum of an approaching fleet, the signature sound of a Zaraxis invasion force preparing to descend, but there's more than just the alien threat hanging over them. Within the group, cracks are beginning to form. The survivalist in their midst, a former soldier who has seen more than his fair share of battles, looks at the leader with growing skepticism. "We can't just hide forever." His voice, rough and hoarse from weeks of harsh conditions, carries an edge of frustration. "We need to take the fight to them." The leader pauses, her eyes narrowing. This is a conversation they've been avoiding, one that could tear their fragile unity apart. The thought of open rebellion against the Zaraxis sends a ripple of fear through the group. The Zaraxis are too powerful, their technology too advanced. A direct attack would be suicide. But deep inside, the leader knows that they cannot keep hiding. The Zaraxis won't stop until every last human is either dead or enslaved. And yet, the cost of any resistance could be catastrophic. They've seen it before, or entire cities razed to the ground, their people exterminated without a second thought. What could they possibly do to stop an empire like that? "We'll fight." But not yet. The words leave her lips before she can second-guess them. Her decision is made, but doubt clings to it like a shadow. She knows that waiting is a gamble, but it's the only choice they have. As they move deeper into the ruined heart of the city, the rumbling grows louder. The alien ships are closing in, and with them comes the creeping realization that time is running out. The survivors must decide, do they continue to run, or do they risk everything to strike back, to become the rebellion they've been dreaming of? The weight of their decision presses down on them, and the world seems to hold its breath. Whatever path they choose, the stakes are clear, everything is on the line. The future of humanity, its survival, its hope, its very existence, hangs in the balance. And with the Zaraxis closing in, every choice carries a cost. What will be lost before the fight is over? And is humanity truly ready to face the enemy it has so long feared? The rumble of approaching Zaraxis forces is no longer distant, it's deafening. The survivors can feel the ground tremble beneath their feet as the alien ships descend, their massive shapes casting eerie shadows over the ruins of the city. For a moment, everything is still. The world seems to hold its breath. Then the first explosion shakes the ground. A nearby building crumbles to dust, sending plumes of smoke and debris into the air. The Zaraxis have found them. "Move!" The leader's command rings out like a crack of thunder, and the group springs into action, scrambling through the wreckage in a frantic, disorganized dash for safety. But the city's labyrinth of fallen buildings and broken streets offers no shelter, no way out. The survivors are caught in the open, exposed. As they race down an alley, the soldier who had been pushing for direct action, his face hardened by the harshness of the world they now live in, grabs the leader's arm. "We can't outrun them. This is it." She looks at him, eyes wide with a mix of fear and determination. The others are behind them, scrambling for cover. The noise of the alien ships overhead is deafening now, the ground shaking with every pulse of their engines. But it's not the ships they need to worry about, it's what's coming next. The alien forces touch down with frightening precision. Soldiers clad in sleek, black exosuits emerge, their faces hidden beneath armored visors. They move with eerie synchronization, their weapons scanning for signs of human life. The leader feels the pressure build in her chest, her breath coming faster. They can't outrun them, but they can't fight them, not like this. They're outmatched, outgunned. And then, the worst happens. A burst of bright light blinds them. It's not an explosion, not a weapon fired. It's something worse. A low hum vibrates through the air, and the survivors freeze, confusion clouding their minds. The light intensifies, and from it emerges a figure, tall, imposing, and otherworldly. The Zaraxis commander. Its features are indistinct, shadowed beneath its helmet, but its presence is unmistakable. The air itself seems to distort around it, bending with power. The commander surveys the survivors, its alien eyes scanning them with cold precision. "We know you are here." The voice echoes through their minds, a guttural sound that sends shivers down their spines. The words are not spoken aloud, but are felt, pressed into their minds with chilling clarity. The Zaraxis commander is not just a soldier, it is a force of nature, capable of imposing its will on them with terrifying ease. In that moment, the leader knows what they've been dreading. The Zaraxis aren't just hunting them, they are watching them, toying with them, studying them like prey. The commander moves forward, and in that instant, the group's chance for escape evaporates. Every path is cut off. The enemy is closing in. The tension in the air is unbearable, and the leader is struck by a chilling realization: they are the last survivors in the city. Every last vestige of human resistance is crumbling before their eyes. The few remaining fighters, the old shelters, the caches of weapons, all are compromised, all are exposed. "We need to act now," the soldier shouts, desperation tinged in his voice. "We don't have time to wait. If we don't take a stand here, it's over." The leader looks at him, then at the others. Each face is filled with uncertainty, fear, and the knowledge that they cannot outrun their fate. But they are also filled with something else, a fragile ember of hope that has burned quietly in the heart of this ragtag group since the day they began their fight for survival. A chance, however small, to turn the tide. But it comes at a cost. The soldier pulls out a crude, makeshift detonator, his eyes locked on the group's leader. "I found something, a weapon, hidden in the ruins. It's not much, but it's a start. We can make a stand, right here, right now." The leader stares at the detonator, 1,000 thoughts racing through her mind. There's no time for strategy, no time for second-guessing. She knows this is their one shot. If they don't act now, the Zaraxis will exterminate them all. But even if they succeed, the consequences will be far-reaching. The Zaraxis are watching, learning, adapting. This isn't just a fight for survival, it's the first step in something much larger. A war. A rebellion. Do it. The words spill from her lips before she can stop them. Without another word, the soldier presses the button. A powerful explosion erupts, sending shockwaves through the ground and filling the air with a deafening roar. Dust and debris explode outward in every direction, temporarily blinding their attackers. For a moment, the world is chaos. The survivors scatter, using the cover of the explosion to their advantage, their adrenaline surging. But in the aftermath, the true cost of their action becomes clear. The Zaraxis forces are far from defeated. The explosion may have bought them a few moments of breathing room, but it has also alerted the enemy to their presence. The fight is no longer a matter of survival alone, it's a battle for the future of humanity. As the smoke begins to clear, the leader locks eyes with the others. The choice has been made. There's no turning back now. The rebellion has begun. The tension rises. What will they risk next? And what will they lose in the process? The explosion echoes through the broken city, a violent rupture in the silence that had reigned for so long. The survivors are momentarily disoriented, the blast clouding their vision and filling their lungs with choking dust. For a fleeting moment, they taste victory, a hollow, fleeting moment where it feels like the world might, just might, tilt in their favor. But even as the smoke drifts away, the weight of their action sinks in. The Zaraxis don't just retaliate, they adapt. The survivors realize with cold clarity that their momentary triumph has only worsened their position. The blast did not cripple the Zaraxis, it only confirmed their location. The once deadly silence of the city has been replaced by the mechanical whir of alien soldiers moving into position, the unmistakable sound of their exosuits clanking as they advance. They're coming. The soldier, the one who had urged for this confrontation, mutters the words like a death sentence. His face is pale from the strain of the blast and the ensuing chaos, but his eyes burn with a wild, manic intensity. The Zaraxis are not just soldiers, they are a force of nature. And this explosion, while it may have caused a brief disruption, is merely the opening act of what will become a full-scale hunt. The leader, her mind racing, knows there's no turning back now. The explosion has ignited a chain reaction, each moment they delay only increases the risk. Every second is now a countdown. They've made their stand, and the Zaraxis will not forget it. As they scramble for cover, the first signs of the true power of the Zaraxis emerge. A cold, calculated voice rings out over their comms, booming with mechanical precision, as though the voice itself is a weapon. You have chosen to fight. Now you will understand the price of resistance. With those words, the earth shakes again, and the survivors can only watch in horror as a massive Zaraxis warship descends from the sky, its sleek, terrifying form blocking out the already grey sky. The ship is like a living thing, its tendrils of dark energy extending like vines, as though it has become part of the very air itself. It touches down with a reverberating thud, sending another shockwave through the ruins. From it, hundreds of Zaraxis soldiers spill forth, an endless tide of cold, emotionless killers, armed with weapons that flicker with otherworldly energy. We can't outrun this. The leader's voice cracks, but there's no time for hesitation. The ground beneath them trembles as the Zaraxis forces spread out, closing in. They've been cornered in a pocket of the city that they had once hoped would offer shelter, but now it feels like a tomb. The survivor soldier, who had urged them to fight, moves forward, eyes locked on the approaching alien army. His hands tremble as he grips his makeshift weapon, a mere shadow of the Zaraxis' firepower. We need to hold them here, at least long enough to get the others out. His words ring with the cold conviction of someone who knows the odds, someone who is willing to sacrifice everything for the faintest chance of survival. But the leader knows the truth. They are outmatched. The Zaraxis don't fight like humans. They don't fight to win, they fight to erase. The leader's mind races with one question: how can they fight an enemy that has already decided to wipe them off the face of the earth? It's not just the alien threat that weighs heavily on their minds. The group, once united by a shared goal of survival, is beginning to crack under the strain. The survivor soldier's desperation, his desire for vengeance, is becoming more dangerous than any alien force. He's no longer acting strategically, he's acting out of sheer fury, charging ahead without regard for the safety of the group. It's becoming clear that their path forward is not just a battle against the Zaraxis, but a fight against their own fractured unity. The leader grabs him by the arm, pulling him back. We don't have the numbers, and we don't have the time. We fight smart, or we die. The soldier's eyes flash with anger, but the leader can see the uncertainty behind his fury. They've all felt it, the rising tide of hopelessness, the weight of knowing that this fight, this war, may be a battle humanity is not destined to win. The leader's heart is heavy with the toll this journey has already taken. Each battle, each loss, is slowly but surely chipping away at them. The group is fracturing. Trust is fraying. The stakes have only risen, and the toll it's taking is more than just physical. They are fighting not only the Zaraxis, but the slow erosion of their own humanity, their ability to see each other as allies, not just survivors. As they regroup in a narrow, broken street, a sudden, eerie sound breaks the air, an unnatural, synthetic hum that causes the survivor's skin to crawl. The ground beneath them shifts, and the leader realizes, too late, that it's a trap. A second warship has descended, smaller but no less deadly, and from it spill terrifying new forces, Zaraxis shock troopers equipped with cloaking technology. They are invisible, hunting them with an efficiency that only enhances the horror of their situation. They've been surrounded. For a fleeting moment, the leader feels the weight of everything, the human race, their rebellion, and everything they've fought for seems so small against the overwhelming might of the Zaraxis. What had started as a spark of hope now feels like an insignificant flicker in the dark. Yet in that moment, when all seems lost, there's an unexpected sound, a crackle, a faint static over their comms. "We're not alone." The voice is soft, almost impossible to hear over the chaos, but it's enough. The leader feels her pulse quicken. Could it be? A signal from the resistance? A glimmer of hope in the darkest of hours? The Zaraxis grow closer, but for the first time since the fight began, the leader feels a spark of something else. Maybe they're not done yet. The battle rages in the streets of the ruined city, the survivors locked in a desperate struggle against an overwhelming tide of Zaraxis forces. The air is thick with the acrid smell of burning debris, and the ground shakes with the weight of alien ships touching down, their engines roaring like a storm. The survivors, battered and bloodied, fight tooth and nail, but the enemy's numbers are too great. The Zaraxis are relentless, every movement calculated, every strike precise. The leader's breath is ragged, her hand shaking as she reloads her weapon. She can feel the weight of every choice they've made, every sacrifice they've endured. The group is splintering. Fear has taken root in their hearts, and even the soldier who once clamored for a fight now seems to falter under the overwhelming pressure. But just as all hope seems to slip through their fingers, the faint crackle over the comms returns, so soft, so distant, that for a moment, she thinks she imagined it. Then, the voice again, stronger this time, urgent, desperate. This is command. "We have an ally. We're coming for you. Hold the line." The words hit like a thunderclap, reverberating through her body. The commander has been hearing reports of resistance pockets, rumors of a growing rebellion, but to hear it spoken aloud, it sends a shockwave of disbelief through her. Help? A rebellion? Could it be true? Or is this just another trick, another hollow promise designed to keep them fighting for a lost cause? Before she can respond, the sound of heavy footsteps thunders toward them. She looks up to see the Zaraxis shock troopers closing in, dozens of cloaked figures, their advanced technology making them near invisible, their movements deadly. The group is pinned down, their backs to the wall.